Okay, I'm here to take a job with Caroline Phillips. Caroline, what are you doing at Microsoft?
What do I do? That's a good question, actually, Julian. I've actually just changed jobs 3 months ago. So I used to be the academic lead for the Western Europe region, working in the developer and platform evangelism group. But I stayed in the same team, but I'm now the audience marketing lead for Western Europe for professional developers and non-professional developers, which is actually really, really exciting, especially as we're here at TechEd. This event is all for developers and IT professionals. So yeah, it's a really exciting time, especially if you're working in the IT industry with the advent of the cloud, mobile gaming. TechEd's actually really, really exciting this year, so hopefully you've seen that as well.
And in your new role, are you still involved with students, or aren't they somewhere in the corner?
They are definitely not in the corner. So,
luckily.
They're definitely not in the corner. That's why I'm talking to you guys today, actually. But no, seriously, our role is very much to reach out to and engage with developers.
Yeah.
And that's developers of all different shapes, sizes, whether that's students, so people just starting out, maybe starting to build apps, maybe doing some games at university, or maybe in their spare time. So what we probably call hobbyist developers or student developers. So people very much like you guys, actually. Yeah. And then we go to the other extremes, which is those people who are being paid to work, being paid to code. So typically what we'd call professional developers could be somebody sitting in a bank, writing a banking application, for example. Yeah. And it's also working with independent software vendors and partners as well. So the broad spectrum, so from students right the way up to the professional developers.
So you have been a long time at Microsoft. How did you end up at Microsoft? Why did you choose to work for that company?
That's a great question. I love asking to anybody at Microsoft, because you probably think there's a traditional route to go to get into Microsoft. So you study computer science, you maybe do a master's or a PhD. I'm completely non-typical. So I actually did a degree in languages and business. And my first role was in marketing. So I actually used to work for the Channel Tunnel. Runs between, now connects England and France. And so my background is very much consumer marketing. And then I ended up in Microsoft. So I saw an advert for a role in the European software developer team, looking after essentially all of their marketing programs for the whole of the Europe, Middle East and Africa region. And that was about 13 years ago, I think. But you ask any Microsoft person, they all have a very different journey, very different story.
And how is it to work for a big company like Microsoft in a European role? Do you have to travel a lot? Are you anytime at home?
So yeah, ask my husband. I am occasionally at home. But no, I think also with the power of technology nowadays, you don't actually need to travel all the time. Yeah. So I spend a lot of time using Office Communication Server to connect with different countries. So I spend a lot of time in calls. And then in addition, you can't get away from face-to-face. Yeah, indeed. So personally meeting customers, personally meeting the Microsoft people is really important. But my role is looking after 12 countries in Western Europe, so you can jump on a plane or a train and get there pretty quickly within 1 day, 2 days. So.
Yeah, and as a woman in a technology company, is it strange to work there? Are there any person that judge you because you're a woman? Or doesn't that bother you?
So it doesn't bother me whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I guess I've been working in the DPE team now for quite a number of years. And typically, if you look up the makeup of DPE, you will typically find a lot of males. So it's very male dominated typically. But I think it's really important to have females in IT. Yeah. Because if you look at the products we're building, they're not just for guys. So in terms of building great products that are going to appeal to a broader audience as possible, you actually need females in the company. Plus, I think we bring a completely different set of skills, which when you're working in a team environment, I think become really, really important.
Yeah, okay, that's true. But you didn't have any people that really don't want to work with you because you're a woman? That isn't...
No, never ever come across that. I think people in Microsoft generally are very open. They'll embrace different cultures, different diversity, and different genders. So no, I've never experienced any issues in Microsoft at all.
So one last question. For a student, what is the technology to invest time in? Is it Azure? Is it the phone? Is it... HTML5?
It's
What is it?
It's the thing that you're most passionate about.
Okay.
And so, from my side, I'd say it's probably phone. Building games on the phone, building great apps on the phone, because I think that's a great opportunity for you guys to maybe get started, but also maybe make some money in the short term. Which I'm guessing with tuition fees at university, maybe you want to make a little bit of money as well. So I'd say that's probably a really good way to get started.
Okay, thank you for the interview.
Thanks very much, Irene.